One of the 4 criminal trials against President Trump is currently underway in New York, as we've all been watching play out in real time. The Democrat donor judge in that case, Juan Merchan, with a Democrat operative daughter who raises money for Democrats off of Trump's back, is now finding Trump in contempt for allegedly violating his gag order 9 of the 10 times that prosecutors alleged that he did. That comes with a fine of $1,000 each, totaling $9,000 for 9 violations, and the risk of being jailed if Trump continues to exercise his First Amendment rights to defend himself publicly. Joining us now to discuss is former U.S. Assistant Attorney General Jeff Clark. He's also a senior fellow with the Center for Renewing America. Jeff, thanks for being back tonight.
Great to be back, Kara, and also congratulations on your marriage.
Well, I really do appreciate it. And so I do want to ask you, what are your thoughts about the contempt ruling that we saw today? Because it seems there's going to be another hearing on Thursday about 4 more alleged violations. But, what are your thoughts on these developments?
It's an irony wrapped in another irony and a third irony. I mean, it's amazing that we're dealing with a judge who should have recused himself under a New York statute because his daughter, who's obviously in the first degree of consanguinity, and the statute goes to 6 layers of consanguinity in New York, has a financial interest in the case against Trump because she's raising millions of dollars off of attacks on Trump for political candidates and for the Democratic Party as a whole. And the judge is refusing to do that, and so he imposes a gag order, the second irony, on the theory that Trump can't talk about that issue because that's harassing his family members and others in the court. And then Trump complains about that because the entire case is election interference, right? And that's why they sent Matthew Colangelo, the former acting number 3, the Associate Attorney General, to New York, to the Manhattan DA's office to work on this case. And it's only Trump who's being targeted for this. The likes of this has never happened in U.S. history before. And for speaking out to defend himself, he's hit with sanctions, $9,000, 9 out of 10 contempt charges against him approved of by the judge. Plus, he gets a warning of, maybe next time you're going to go to jail if you violate my orders. I mean, you can't make this up, and it literally is like, the banana republic that we're seeing in some places in Central America turn around. And I would never have thought I would sit here and see this happening in America, Kara, but that's what we're seeing.
We are, and you bring up an interesting point with Colangelo. We talked about it last week on the show, but it's interesting, right? Because the media, you always look for their tells. You read between the lines. So when President Trump was in office, everything he ever said was always, comma, without evidence. So President Trump asserts X, comma, without evidence, right? And so that was kind of the joke we all had with the media, was they always said without evidence. So then as I'm looking at the updates today about the Trump trial in New York and what was going on and what happened, all the mainstream media outlets were all saying that President Trump basically asserts without evidence that Biden's fingerprints are all over these cases, especially this alleged hush money one that he's dealing with in New York right now. And they go, Biden has nothing to do with this. This is all on you, Trump, blah, blah, blah. The same line we get from the media. But you point out about Colangelo, the number 3 at the DOJ, he happens to leave and go to, Alvin Bragg's office, kind of works backward when it comes to career, advancement in that line of work. And we're supposed to believe that this has nothing to do with Biden, has nothing to do with Democrats, has nothing to do with anything. So what do you make of people who say that the reason that Colangelo's even on this case has, nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with the Biden White House? You're crazy for even bringing it up.
Right. Well, Kara, look, with my economics training, which preceded my legal training, we have this distinction between exogenous and endogenous. Exogenous variables are ones that come from the outside, and then endogenous are changes internal to a system. The media wants us to believe that what's happening to Trump is totally exogenous to the Biden administration and to other blue state or city prosecutors. But I would submit to you that the evidence is mounting that it's exactly the opposite. We're dealing with a situation where those local prosecutors, state officials, and the Biden administration are all working hand in glove to go after President Trump because they cannot stop him, they fear, at the ballot box, so they have to stop him through this lawfare.